I think I pulled in here about 9 p.m. last night, and it seemed a little bit early, but at the same time that's midnight Eastern time. Now it's 6:53 a.m. and so that's 9:53 Eastern time. It's still quite dark. The phone actually makes it look quite a bit lighter than it is. There's a little bit of light in the sky, but it's still quite dark. And I'm wondering if I'm getting up towards the Arctic Circle where it's not going to be light out till later in the day. But it did stay light until after 6 p.m. yesterday, so I'm really not sure. Anyways, I think I got over 8 hours of sleep, and I'm ready to get on the road, and not going to be expecting it to get, yep, that's not an exit. Not going to be expecting it to get light out before I'm on the road. Very quiet, very dark. Now I just had to figure out where the road is. I think maybe one vehicle passed last night the entire time. Maybe. Kind of vaguely remember sensing that something was passing. But I also, like, the rest area pulled way down. There was like that second lot further down. It's part of the reason I decided to stop. I was like, I should sleep so good here. It's so quiet and so dark, and I'm away from the road even if someone does go by. So just about 5.5 hours out from Whitehorse, Yukon, which is my goal today. So should be a nice, easy drive. I'm gonna hit the Alaska Highway in under 2 hours here, maybe closer to 1 hour if I remember right. Even driving at pretty low speeds around. Take it easy working up to that, but around probably 60 to 70 kilometers an hour, about 40 miles an hour is what I was averaging yesterday. These signs that say licensed mechanic or tire store
in 400 meters, turn left,
or anything else suggesting that there is any kind of mechanical assistance of any kind, they're all outdated. Those things no longer exist here, but there is a nice down the road.
Turn left onto Yukon 1 West. Signs for Yukon Territory 1 West, Whitehorse.
Looks like Junction 37 Services is open for fuel. That's all it is right now. Then there's another one a little bit down the road that's gonna have fuel.
Continue on Yukon 1 West for 411 kilometers.
Gonna have fuel, rooms, camping, most importantly, well, at this point, most importantly, a bathroom, and second most importantly, food. The resort that I had counted on being open, because it seemed like a bustling type of place that would be open all year, was in fact not open. So I pulled into a rest area just down the road from it, and after using the bathroom there, I decided that it was in my best interest to go back to the first little gas station, which at least appeared to be open with gas. So I am fairly positive that the hitchhiker I picked up stole my cell phone, though I don't want to put out any accusations I can't absolutely prove. It's very uncanny that it went missing, and the first time I noticed it was after that. And it had been sitting, or normally was sitting, exactly where he had put my keys as he got out of the truck and said, "Oh, your keys are on the floor here." And I was like, "Thanks." And it seemed a little weird to me because I was like, okay, I mean, helpful or whatever, but I wouldn't really take the initiative to move somebody's something, anything, whatever. If they're on the floor, it's probably because that's where I had them. But anyways, I had this horrible thought where I was like, what, did he take anything else? What about my passport? What about my cash? None of which I necessarily remember intentionally removing or hiding, which is something I normally do when I pick up hitchhikers. And I haven't picked anyone up in a long time. I've just, for the most part, just passed people up. And I don't think this is going to stop me from ever picking up a hitchhiker again. But I'm gonna get back into that good habits. Did I just pass where I needed to go? No. I'm gonna get back into the good habits of anything visible of value is gone before they get into the vehicle, and I am watching them from the moment they get in to the moment they get out. And then probably, if I had anything but absolute certainty about kind of who they are, I'm going to move away from them, like, bye, see ya, and get down the road a little bit before I do anything else, like fuel up. Because that's another thing. I fueled up as he was getting out of the vehicle because he like wanted to get out near this gas station, which made sense because it was in the town that he had said he was going to from the beginning. And yeah, as I fueled up, he was getting out, and then after a little bit I was like, hang on a minute, he's taking a while here. Anyways, I decided to turn around and go back to this little gas station and fuel up, because I don't know how far the next one might be. Hey, Bobby. You want me to throw that? You want me to throw that stick, huh? Huh? Hey, Pop, what's your name? What's your name? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
That one working?
Yeah.
Okay.
So far, anyways.
Yeah, 'cause I just rebooted the system, so usually it takes lift the nozzle, and watch the grade.
Just basic,
Regular?
regular, yep. That's all there is on it, isn't there?
Yeah. Okay, that one's come back online.
That's a start, hopefully. Hopefully it's a trajectory, not just the one. Good dogs.
Well, that one there won't come on as long as the price says 0.
Right.
Yeah, and there's no way for us to do anything about it.
Well, this poor guy was freaking out because he has a diesel truck and their diesel pump is not coming online. But the attendant actually mentioned something about Watson Lake, which is east. It's only 14 miles, and funny, the attendant here has either been around long enough or just knew he was from the US, so he said 14 miles and not 24 kilometers or whatever it is, 30 kilometers. And I was able to confirm they should have something open. I'm positive of it. They're gonna have, unless they've got one or more gas stations also having issues with their pumps, they should have some diesel for them. So I gave them my phone number just in case. Not that I'm necessarily going to be willing to come back by the time I actually get contact from him, because I'm not going to have any cell service the direction that I'm going. Unless I go back, head back that way, get a bite to eat, which sounds pretty good right now as well. Now I'll go on to Teslin. Teslin is 240 kilometers. That's like, oh man, that's like 2.5 hours at 6. I don't know. I might go back and grab a bite to eat. Kilometers, that's gonna be like 3 hours at 45 to 50 miles an hour. So let's check out Watson Lake. That's handy. $22 kilometers to Watson Lake. I think that's less than 14 miles. If maybe it's about 14 miles. Already having second thoughts on whether I want to add the extra 40 minutes. After all, it does seem rather uncanny that the gas gas pump came on. Just in time. For me to fuel up. Something else. Probably something sooner than Tesla, right? Like some little convenience store or Walmart. There's gotta be something. Alright, after a little bit of back and forth, I decided to keep going forward in my direction of travel, which is west, instead of making a 14-mile backtrack to Watson Lake, heading east on the Alaska Highway, off of the Stewart Cassiar. I keep wanting to say Cassiar, but maybe it's like Cassiar Highway, and just hoping that there's something to eat along the way before I go 240 kilometers, but if there's not, I'll make it. And then my other slight concern is what if, what was his name? Started with a C. Anyways, what if he's not able to make it, or for some reason there isn't fuel in Watson Lake? But I mean, I would be shocked. It's a decent sized little town. You know, it's not an outpost, it's an actual town. The temperature's not insanely cold, it's 29 degrees Fahrenheit. It just seems extremely unlikely that he's not going to be able to get fuel there. And it's not like I can do a whole lot to help him anyways. So I don't think I can worry about that. One of those moments where there's just good reasons for both potential decisions. There were good reasons to go back. Mainly just the mindset of I can go ahead and do this, slow down, get a bite to eat, whatever. There's good reasons to move forward, namely moving forward. And kind of tentatively excited to see if there is some sort of little spot to stop on the way. I'm not really entirely expecting it, but I'm sure if there is something, it will be something interesting. And the day is a mystery that is going to unfold here, and I'm excited for it, even if I am a bit hungry, because I really didn't get dinner last night. And then I was kind of counting on that little place there, Nugget City, for breakfast, and they did not deliver. They're not even open at all, which can be the issue with resort like little places. And that's totally up to them. You know, it's their business. They can run it however they want. If it's not worth it to them to keep it open in the winter, they're not going to. That's the way it is. I was kind of excited to stop there, A, because the food's decent, and B, I had met the guy who is part of the couple, a man and woman, who are taking it over, or were taking it over as of last April or so when I was here, maybe late March. And he seemed like just really positive energy, had a successful person, owned a gym or two somewhere else, more populated part of Canada. I want to say Vancouver, but I couldn't say for sure. And then he married into the family that owned it, so his wife, her parents were like retiring and they were taking it over, and he had seemingly a lot of interesting plans for it that we talked about a little bit, you know, adding hot tubs and cold tubs and like ice baths. And he was like up at 5 in the morning cooking breakfast and just seemed like a real go-getter and a really personable guy, nice to talk to. So, you know, I was kind of just like excited to check in, see how they were doing. And now I don't even know if the plan is still in place or if the whole thing is shutting down. I hope that it's just a little seasonal thing, but I have no way of knowing. So things you don't worry about, and you just keep moving forward doing what you're doing. So far this road looks more clear, but it's actually icier. That's not good. Semi started trying to pass me on this blind corner, even though there's a nice big long stretch here to do it with. It's actually a lot more icy than the road I was just on. I've felt my tires slip multiple times already, and just sometimes having more exposed pavement is not good, because that's what gets icy. When there's actually compacted snow, that's a little bit gritty, a little bit grippy, and I feel much more comfortable driving on that than I do on this, but that's okay. Looks like about 45 to 50 is going to be my safe speed. 50 is pushing it a little bit for me. Obviously that semi is going a little bit faster than that, but I've seen a lot of vehicles, including semis, stuck in ditches or rolled over on this trip, and so far I have not been among them. So medium speed and fairly steady is my approach to this race. That was a terrible analogy, because I'm not going slow, I'm not going steady, and it's not a race, but you get the picture. To follow up, because I think I left the video on a cliffhanger, before I pulled back into that gas station, before I got back on the road out of the rest area, I looked through my stuff at very limited places to look, and I quickly found my old passport, and then I found my new passport and the envelope of cash, which was not a whole lot of cash left, just because I spent most of it before leaving the US. Maybe about $100, if that. Here's maybe 80 something, 85, 90. None of which have been touched, which almost makes me wonder, like, did he even take my cell phone, or did I just misplace it? But when I first noticed it missing, I did try calling it, and I didn't have it ring, and like, there's not really much place for it to go in the truck. And although I could have misplaced it, there's one place that I always have it, and as soon as I looked there and it wasn't there, and those keys that he had grabbed off the floor for me were there, I was just like, wait a minute. So I kind of think that the cell phone was stolen, but it's not 100% for sure yet. I have not done a deep search, and I also haven't been able to remember my my Apple ID for that cell phone to log in and do a Find My search for it through Apple. But still, the sense of relief that I did not lose my passport, particularly the money was, I was already like, oh well, less than $100. Not that that's nothing at this point. But just the sense of relief that I still had my passport and don't have to deal with something like that is almost a better feeling than just never having thought I lost anything in the first place, which is a reminder to be grateful for the things that don't go wrong. Because often I am stressed out about things, not thinking about just how much more stressful or worse they could be, and how small of a difference, you know, like, he could have stolen that stuff and I would not have known. And that was preventable on my end because I didn't need to start getting gas while he was not yet out of the vehicle. I was way too relaxed there. And that was, but I left it open. If he had quickly rifled through this container, it wouldn't have taken him long to find my passport, that cash, and have been gone with both of those things. The only difference, the only thing that changed that outcome is that he didn't do that. Nothing I did changed that outcome. Except I did, I mean, I don't think it changed the outcome at all, but I did, after like a few seconds of getting gas, like long enough to pay, take the pump off, start fueling, and then I started thinking he's taking a while. So I did pretty quickly walk around to the other side of the vehicle where he was, you know, not in an accusatory way, just like, hey, you know, my demeanor, the intent I had for my demeanor was that it was, I want to see you off, you know, still acting completely friendly, but the intent was there to keep an eye on him from that point forward. And if I had been a little more aggressive about it, maybe I would have started thinking, what did I have in my vehicle? I'm gonna check, make sure it's all still there. Maybe I would have noticed the missing phone. I didn't think that proactively, but I did think proactively enough to put an eye on him from that point forward until he was walking away. And maybe that saved my passport. I don't think so, but I do know that if he had taken it, and he had probably enough time to have found and taken it, if he had taken it, I wouldn't have noticed based on anything that I did. So the fact remains that potential outcome was there and it didn't happen, and I'm thankful for that. that was an invigorating little run there. I alternated running and walking, and my other YouTube channel on which I post about running in the wilderness is called Wilderness Runner. If you want to check that out, that would be awesome. It's obviously quite different from this channel, except that a lot of the settings obviously are the same, because where am I going to run? I'm going to run in the places that I'm driving through. So each day, and I just got back into this a couple days ago, so this was day 3 of going for a run. I feel that it's very important for me for multiple reasons, but mostly for my health. And so each day I'm trying to go for a run, and just a very simple self-facing video, share some thoughts and some scenery in that process. Well, what have we got coming up here? Tesla, not sure how far, couldn't see. intersection there got his diesel because he came racing up on me. And I'm surprised he hasn't passed yet. He's got room. Could edge over a little bit more for him. But although he came racing up, he's leaving a little bit of distance now, and it looks like maybe he doesn't intend to pass. I'm not sure. There he goes. Slow down a little bit. Move over a little bit. We got the wave. That's him. He's going to Alaska as well, coming up from Washington, same place I came up from. Didn't ask him if he lives in Washington. I kind of got the idea he's actually from Washington. I'm from Michigan. Anyway, he's on his way to Alaska for whatever reason, and it looks like he's probably going to get there unless he ends up in a ditch somewhere. But that could happen to any of us. Services closed. The Continental Divide Lodge closed. Just another closed amenity. Swift River, 2 kilometers. Maybe it's just a river. I don't know if it's a town or a river, or both, or recreational site, or hotel, or outpost, or what. Whatever it is, it's closed. Guess it's this little outpost here that's closed. On to Tesla, and it doesn't look that far. It looks like I'm maybe 2/3 of the way between the BC-37 intersection, or maybe it's just, I keep saying BC, maybe it's just Canada 37, I'm not sure. It's the 37 that connects with the Alaska Highway about 20 kilometers west of Watson Lake. Yukon, that 37. About 2/3 of the way between that intersection and Teslin, which I think is going to be the first place that has anything that's open.
Head northeast toward Yukon 1 West.
Right, we're gonna see what there is to eat, and I'll take this call from my dad here in a second.
In 100 meters, turn right onto Yukon 1 West.
I love this place. First of all, it's open. It's not a fake resort. It's here year round, and they're so nice here. I walked in, I remembered the person from last time I was here. Really friendly, and I remember eating here last time too. I'm gonna do that again. Just over an hour out from Whitehorse, which is my stopping point for today. Whitehorse is weird because you first enter the city limits like 20 kilometers from the city center, and then there's just like, I've already passed the first 7 kilometers or so where there's just a bunch of signs. Then you start getting a little bit, and then you get more signs of all the things. Like, they are the masters of anticipation. Just check out all the things that are gonna be waiting for you once you actually get into Whitehorse. But you're technically in it now, and you have been for the last 8 kilometers. But you wouldn't know it. There's more and more signs of all the stuff. It's like wall drug on a smaller scale. They really start to build up the fact that this is something big. Alright, well, I still got 10 kilometers to go, so I'm not going to film that whole thing. Well, so far parking isn't what I expected. The inn isn't what I expected either. And I don't love that I can't even open the door. And the owner or manager is checking in someone else, so I guess he's gonna come let me in once he's done with that. I guess you have the right to call. I guess you have the right to call your business whatever you want. I call mine Send It Delivery Co., which might imply that there's more than one person involved in running it. And customers might be a little bit surprised to find out that's not the case. They called this an inn, so I was a little surprised to find out it's like a townhouse. But whatever, the guy seems nice enough, so might have grabbed my jacket if I'd realized I wasn't gonna be able to just pop right in. All right, very interesting, somewhat unique, somewhat creative, a little bit different. That's just the check-in, and the actual location is a couple of blocks away. He said that there should be no problem parking the trailer there, so we'll see. Well, by golly, I would say that sure enough, I got it. This is a dirty truck, but there's not much point in cleaning it before getting to Alaska. It's just gonna get dirty again. So let's go in and see how this place is. First impressions. Shared kitchen. I'm in A4. This is not quite what I expected, but if I looked more closely at the pictures, I would have expected it more. Two, three, four. A little strange. Okay, but yeah, pretty nice for what it is. It's just not what I thought it was going to be. Got a view on my truck and trailer from here. I don't know if I'm gonna be taking all those boxes out and carrying them in though, like I was planning on and anticipating had it been a normal hotel.